Hello, hello, hello. Happy snow day. I am here all by myself without my sidekick, Rochelle Lineberger. I know this is always so much more fun when she's a part of it because we tend to make each other laugh and keep it lively and fun. But today is a snow day, so therefore it's me all by myself. So thank you for those of you who have joined us. If you're a Valor family, just know that your teachers are logged in online, and little public service announcement. So we don't have to make it any days at the end of the school year. We are popping online. But super glad for those of you who have already joined me. It's good to see you. We are talking about relationships. This whole month we've been talking about relationships. Last week we talked about the what to do with as your kid is growing in relationships and developing romantic relationships. So if that's where you are and you want to log in to last week, you can still get a copy of that on our Facebook page. So if you're watching us on Instagram, you can still get previous episodes on our Facebook. We haven't really figured out how do you do the Instagram, save your story, all that. I really need tech support on this. So anybody that wants to sign up, dogs are running around, super awesome professional. But what do you do? We're still gonna, I'm committed to you guys, committed to chat with you guys and talk about relationships. One of the things that I often deal with as a principal, so in case you don't know, I have been in education for about 25 years. My friend Rochelle that normally joins us has also been in education for 20 plus years. And then we both have adult children. And what we know is parenting is hard. And so we have talked a lot about all the questions that we get as we run the school. And what I can tell you is we have tried to, we've sat down and kind of planned out the year of, hey, these are the normal questions we get. And so every week we log on here at noon on Wednesday, regardless of weather, regardless if I'm showing up by myself or not, because I haven't figured out how to log my friend in live. Somebody needs to help me. I'm challenged technology-wise on this front. But with that said, a lot of times our kids go through periods or transitions where they are struggling with relationship. They're struggling with either they don't feel like they have friends or they are struggling with their current friends. And our instincts as parents, and this is super normal, is to protect them, defend them, join in with them when they come home and they report so-and-so ignored me today, so-and-so said this about me today, or I have no friends, nobody's talking to me. And here's what I can tell you is, first of all, you always have to remember when your child is talking to you about this, the first thing to know is they're telling you this from their perspective, right? The event as it unfolded may or may not have actually happened that way. This just happened to me as an adult, so it very much happens to our kids. I was having a conversation with somebody over the weekend, and something they said in the conversation, all of a sudden I found myself just very frustrated with the conversation. I actually started reacting to the conversation rather than responding to the conversation. And later, when I got off the phone, I started pondering the question of why in the world was I so upset by that? Why did that bother me so much? And why did I not? I typically pride myself on responding well to situations, and I didn't respond great. And what I can tell you is, just upon reflection, is I realized that the conversation had triggered in me a past event, a past insecurity. The person talking to me had nothing to do with any part of my past, but what they were saying absolutely triggered that in me. So understand all that personal exposure to tell you this, understand that those are the kind of things that happen in the lives of our kids every single day when they're on school campus, right? They already have so much in their subconscious. In fact, studies will show us that 95% of your day is spent in the subconscious, and they already have so much going on in their subconscious that's that is communicating to them how to feel about a certain situation. What is actually happening out here, for example, and this has happened to me before as well, and honestly, if this has happened with you, with me, you know, where I'll be walking on a mission, targeted, I need to get from here to there because I have this to do, and I'll walk by someone without acknowledging them or without being kind and seeing how they're doing. I've had people come to me and tell me, man, why were you giving me such a dirty look? Are you mad at me? What's going on? Why'd you give me a dirty look? When in reality, I was so focused on what I had to get done and where I was headed that it didn't even cross my membrane that I was walking past that person. And so this person had interpreted that I was upset with them because of my body language that was really not about them at all. So the first thing to help your child know when they're coming home and sharing a story is often there's stuff going on in the background, both in their minds and in the minds of another student or a teacher that they don't understand. They're not interpreting. So as a parent, all that to say, I hope I'm not getting too confusing here. All that to say, understand, you got to be so careful about not just jumping on the bandwagon with your kid, right? Not just immediately owning the offense if they're saying somebody was rude or somebody was mean or somebody gave them a dirty look. Not just owning that offense with them, because you add fuel to a fire that may or may not actually be existing. And so it's really important to teach your child to be a good communicator in those situations, right? I love nothing more than when, my favorite thing, honestly, is when I've done the walk by someone and they come back to me and say, hey, are you upset with me? Did I do something to offend you? I'm so grateful for those opportunities because it gives me the opportunity to speak into it. So with your child, teach your child always, when they're reporting, hey, somebody thinks this about me, or teach your child always to go be as direct. And I know it's like super risky, but direct of, hey, did I offend you in some way? Did I hurt your feelings in some way? Because what your child is going to find is as they do that, they'll start learning how to work in relationships, because the other student generally is going to say, yes, you did offend me, you did this and this and this, or they're going to say what, unfortunately, I find myself saying, what? No, I'm so sorry. I was just on my mission to get something else done. So teach them to, guys, you are teaching your kid for life. And so often we want to own the hurt of our child in the moment, and we feel it. And as mamas in particular, we feel that hurt. But please understand, we're teaching our kids for their future, for life, for future relationships. So teaching them when they're feeling hurt, how to resolve the hurt in really healthy ways is huge. That's something they learn to do from you. They learn to resolve conflict. They learn to push into scary situations from you. And so helping them, you can encourage them. So things that I have done with my own kids is when they've come home feeling, particularly offended or hurt by somebody, I've asked them, first of all, I always empathize with them, right? Like none of us like how that feels. None of us say. So I validate the feeling, because the feeling for them is very real. And so making sure we validate that and say, gosh, I'm so sorry that made you feel that way. And being very genuine in that is good. But now the second step of that is, how do we resolve that? How do we help you bring that to some resolution? Because what is happening for our kids, and often for us in life, is we go one of two ways. We create this whole scenario that may or may not exist, and by not talking to the appropriate person about it, we escalate it and create drama that is needless drama. Whereas if we teach our kids just to, hey, push into this and say, hey, did I do something to offend you? That's the first thing in relationship. teaching your kid to push into those. Our tendency is to run away from those kind of situations. Teaching them to lean in rather than run is incredibly valid. It is a skill set that will set them on the course for their life, and it is one that even a lot of adults don't know to do, and sometimes we even as adults don't do that great. If you're looking for a great resource on this, I love, probably one of the most life-changing books that I have read on my personal communication style was called Crucial Conversations, and it just absolutely teaches you how to push into those spaces that are uncomfortable spaces. So that's the first thing. The second thing in building relationships is sometimes our kids are in a lonely season. Sometimes they're in a, hey, I don't feel like I have friends. I feel like we've all been there where we're like, I don't feel like I have friends. Again, as a parent, our tendency is want to wrap them up, resolve it, go find them friends, go put them in places, go have fun, go buy them something. That's not, like, this is our kids as they grow up in this world that communicates to them that the world does revolve around you. And so when they're feeling lonely and our response to their loneliness is, how can I fix this loneliness? It is, the world is revolving around you, versus how can you use this, right? So what I mean by that is, when my kids have been lonely, the question becomes, hey, that doesn't feel good. It's not even a question. It's just acknowledging how that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when you don't have friends. Do you know other people in your school that are sitting alone? Do you know other people that maybe feel like you're feeling right now? Because helping them learn, this is like the primo space to learn empathy, to learn care and concern for others. You know, I think we've all heard the statement that we don't appreciate the sun really until it rains. I went from Sacramento and moved to Portland. And I am just telling you, like, when I moved from South Dakota to Sacramento. When I moved from South Dakota to Sacramento, my husband and I were rolling because, like, literally every day we would get up, we would be like, this is the most amazing, gorgeous day. It's so fabulous here. And we'd go in the store and we'd be talking to somebody in the store about, this day. And the vast majority of people were like, it's a day. Hey, welcome to California. This is what we do. Which, by the way, California, well done. Well done. So then we moved to Portland, and, you know, after we had transitioned, we too got used to the sun, transitioned to Portland. And now, man, that sun comes out. I do not miss being outside. Like, I am out there, I'm soaking it in. I'm so grateful. I'm thanking Jesus for the sun. But it really is those rainy, hard places that teach me that gratitude, that teach me that empathy, that teach me to reach out. So rather, again, sympathizing, empathizing as a parent with, I'm so sorry you feel lonely. That none of us like how that feels at all. Do you know anybody else that you think alone feels this way? Do you think that maybe you can maybe invite people into your group? Do you think maybe you can start something? Invite somebody to go to the movies, invite somebody to start a Bible study, invite somebody to study with you, whatever it is, because that's like teaching your kid, man, you were put on this earth with gifts and blessings to be a gift and blessing to others, and to love and honor others. So leverage those. Pain should not be wasted. There's nothing worse as a parent to have our kids in pain, especially relationship pain, especially when we feel someone has wronged our kid. Those are all super normal feelings. But if you will stop and ask yourself the question of, how do I leverage that for the future? And how do I use this to develop in my child? Again, don't go right to the training equipping, because your child will stop talking to you eventually if you continue to go on to that. if they're like, I feel bad, and you do the what'd you do, or right into teaching, they'll stop talking to you because they want to know you get it. But then once you've sat and of course, I just did this with one of my kids the other day, adult kid. Once you sit and listen and go, yeah, super, super hard. I am so sorry. That it must be so frustrating. I feel your frustration. Once I spent some time with that, then I started talking about, hey, here's what you're moving to. Rochelle, thanks for logging in. I was trying to figure out how I could bring you live into this conversation. Little Miss Rochelle, I miss you today. It's so lonely. I'm like about ready to wrap up. Normally Rochelle and I are 20 to 30 minutes, and today I'm just like, I got no sidekick. It's not near as fun. So I'm missing you, my dear sweet friend. But anyway, it is a snow day here today. I literally have been talking on meetings since 6 a.m. this morning. A lot of good meetings. But with that said, this is also a great day to cuddle up with your kiddo, to remind them how precious they are, what a great divine plan and destiny God has for them. And hey, if you enjoyed this content, if you found it valuable at all, like, share, comment with your friends, because here's the deal. Parenting is hard. We all need a village. We all need that support. We all need somebody to bounce our ideas off of and bounce our thoughts of it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for any feedback that you want to give us that would be helpful. Any questions you want to give us. Rochelle, you'll be back next week. Yes, my love, because I miss you. In just a few weeks, we are headed to Kenya. So hopefully we can figure out how to maybe do a live from Kenya together, a live parenting from Kenya. That would be really fun. So anyway, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.